You're listening to Living with Louie. Well, we're back again with Mike, and Mike's going to talk about something that I've talked about in the past, and that's that dark journey into what I call the rabbit hole. And so, without any further ado, I'm going to turn this over and let Mike tell you about how he deals with it and how he gets back out.
Hi, Larry. What I typically do when the depression really sets in, I try to I go and I listen to music, and I use what are called um, part of biofeedback. It's mindfulness exercises, and I have an app on my phone that the best one I use takes me to Jupiter.
Hmm.
And you're on a spaceship and you can hear the spaceship, and they have celestial sounds playing, but it guides you to Jupiter and it helps calm and relax you. And I've found that to be very effective. I also will sometimes, when I get down, my doctors have asked to stimulate my thinking process to play some video games, but my concentration doesn't allow me to play for more than about 20 minutes. But hey, at least I try.
I find that one of the places that I like to escape to is my music as well. Oftentimes, I'll
Hmm.
just put on a set of headphones and listen to some music, and I have so many varieties of music. It's ridiculous, but it does help to calm me. I
It
know that.
does. It helps so much because it's an escape. And then I think other times what I do is when I'm not resorting to watching Texas Rangers baseball, I D will get out and take me on a drive, and that always helps. So, because with me not being able to drive myself, that's kind of one of the things that takes me into a depression because I'm so I used to just love to get in the car and drive, and I can't do that any longer. So, but she's very good about getting me out.
Well, that I think that's important. It's important for me too. I have trouble. I think with we get into too tight a traffic. It bothers me.
Uh-huh.
It's like overstimulating.
Right. I understand that because it is. It's because I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's because I don't have the control over myself I used to or what, but I just feel like, I don't know, the world's out of control around me. And it scares me, but I still continue to go on.
No, I don't think we have much choice but to go
We
on.
don't,
But
we don't, we don't. But yeah, I'm not going to stop now.
we managed to struggle through it. So when you were talking about the rabbit hole, you made a comment about something, and I can't right off the top of my head remember what it was, but it was something that you had mentioned to me in an email. Um, I can't remember how you termed it. Something that they have you do from KU.
Hmm.
You're having trouble recalling it as well. I
I
can tell.
am.
It's all right. It's all.
Yeah,
This is what happens when
yeah,
when you're dealing with this, and we both know it.
yeah, yeah. No, I'll once I think of it, I'll let you know. But yeah, I'll have to go back and look at my emails. But no, but I mostly rely on the music and um, baseball to help me lift me out of a depression.
It's
And
so easy to slip in there, but once you can get back out, it's then you got it. Then you have a victory.
it is, yeah, it is, and it's I try to maintain my sense of self awareness around me so it doesn't get too far. Because ever got to the point again where, it got that far, I would definitely call the doctors and get help.
Well,
But it hasn't been like that in a very long time.
well, thank goodness.
Yeah, I take my meds and they do help. But no, it's just I'm having a hard time with my thoughts today. I'm sorry, Larry.
It's
Um,
all good. I mean, some of the things that you and I had talked about
mhm.
last time, and that you wanted to talk about also was denial and acceptance. And I think it
Yes.
starts when you first get diagnosed and you kind of in denial.
Hmm. Yeah, you do. It's just like, okay, this isn't really happening to me. And yeah, just because they say it is, I don't believe it. And I did that for a while. And then as my symptoms began to increase and things like that, I was like, okay, maybe so. And then I finally, it was like an epiphany one day. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to accept this. And that's what I do is, I accept it. I can't do the things I used to do, but that's okay because there are still some things I can do. And, that's the main thing.
I think those are the things that you really have to hold on to, are the things that you can still do and
Yeah.
still accomplish. And like for me, one of the things, and this goes back, I don't know, a year and a half or so, and I needed to fix a screened-in porch, and
Hmm.
it was something that years ago I could have done that in a weekend easily.
Right.
It took me months, but you know what?
Right.
I got it, and that's all that matters is the
That's
end
just it.
result.
You did it. Yeah. It doesn't matter how long it took it, but you got it done. But yeah, but no, sorry, getting my thought.
It's
Okay.
okay, but it's okay, brother. All
But
good.
no, it's all getting thing. It doesn't matter, how fast you get it done. It's that you get it done,
Right.
and that's the way I look at things. So, but yeah, we put up a TV antenna a couple days ago, and no, I couldn't get on the ladder to hang it up or anything like that. But I did take my time, and I finally recognized how to hook it up to the back of the TV. And, that's a small victory, but it's still a victory.
Hey, you know when you have to celebrate your victories, and that's
Hmm.
that's the way I feel. And even the smallest of victories, like you said, still a victory, and
Exactly.
you have to latch on to those because the rest of it is just will sink you back into depression, I think. But
They do. They do. And, you and I have both talked about um, our brains resetting. And I'm, I'm not gonna lie, I've been struggling for the past 4 days, but finally last night, my brain reset over 14 hours and I feel better today. And it's what it took. And I feel better today, and I'm just so glad it finally happened.
I know for me, we had a little bit of a busy weekend this past weekend, and it kind of
Mhm.
wore me out. Kind of drug me down,
Yeah,
and so
yeah, it does. We have our granddaughters over, and it, they're active girls and stuff like that.
how old
And
are they?
one is 10 and one is 15, and they argue quite a bit. So, it's just one of those things that
The brothers
I
and
just
sisters do, right?
Yeah, I do. I just needed to reset from it, and I did. But no, we had a good time. Dee took them swimming and stuff like that. So
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one sister that's 4 years younger than me, and she lives in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah, she's 4 years younger than me, and but yeah, We don't see each other as much as we'd like to, but you know that's she's busy and stuff like that.
Life happens.
And to be very honest, I think she has a hard time seeing me like this, and so she'll check on me, but I can tell it hurts her, and she even says it hurts her. And I tell her, I said, don't worry about me. I'm okay. I'm adapting to this.
Right. It,
And
it's the
yeah,
new you, and that I think goes back to that whole acceptance thing that we were talking about, is accepting
it
the fact that
does.
this is who we are now, and it's it's different. I know that one of my sons, I think, is really in denial about where things really are.
Right. Right. And that's part of, years. And I guess I see it as our responsibility to kind of help guide those people through it and let them know we're okay.
Yeah,
You know,
it's an educational process
it is.
that if we don't do it, it's not getting done. I mean, you look at how many people there are that don't know anything about this, and that includes a lot of the public and
Uh-huh.
unfortunately medical professionals as well.
That's true. They do. They don't know as much about it. And, that I'm learning as I meet more medical professionals, they are educating themselves on it. But it's getting better. But like I said, I'm very fortunate to have my medical team at KU Medical Center because they're on top of it.
Well, that's I think that having a good treatment team is immensely important.
It
Um,
is.
and I know that in a recent trip that I had to unfortunately take to the emergency room, the RN there, I did like the fact that when I told her I had Lewy body, and I told her, she was like, "I don't know a lot about that."
Hmm.
And she asked me, "Where can I get information?" So I gave her places where she can get information. But the thing that I found refreshing was that she was willing to go and find out.
To research it, yes.
Right, to do some research and find out something that she hadn't previously encountered.
Hmm.
But yeah, my autonomic system has messed with my heart rhythms, so that's just part of this too.
It is. It is. It's just there's so many different aspects to this, and there's some of them that I don't know about, but some they kind of show up. I'm like, I didn't know this.
Right. Um, I would like to share something with you because I'd never had seen this before. Let me see if I can find out what I wrote it down. Where? Yeah,
That's the key.
yeah, that's the key. Yeah, you write it down, but where? Um, Easy peasy. Hold on a minute. I don't like it when I do this, but there's nothing I can do about it other than work
No,
through it, right?
that's right.
PubMed. Have you heard of that?
What is it?
It's called PubMed.
Uh-uh.
It's online, um, and when you go in there, you can search um, just about anything and
Mhm.
and get some information and different articles. And I found that you have to kind of be kind of a little more specific in what you're looking for. Otherwise, you're just going to get a plethora of stuff that really doesn't
All right.
pertain. But it was another source of information that one of my therapists brought to the table.
Huh. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of it.
Yeah. If you like, I'll certainly I'll text it to you so you can remember. But it's PubMed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
One thing that I really find, and I don't know why more people don't do this, but I find it very powerful to just have conversations with you.
Yeah.
It it certainly makes makes me feel like and makes me know that I'm not the only one and I'm not alone. And
Exactly. And I had an incident last night that it was a hallucination, and I was disorganized for a couple minutes. And when I come out of it, I told Dee, I said, by talking to Larry, I realize I'm not the only one doing this, going through this.
now
And I said,
there's time when Lisa just catches me staring off into space, and she has to come and put her hands on me and say, "Hey,
yeah,
Larry, you okay?"
hmm
Because yeah, you're just kind of checked out a little bit.
yeah, you do. And that's what has started to happen to me when, like I described in the last that podcast, when I was doing the pregnant female group, and I just zoned out. And it shocked all of them because I do remember them going, "Are you okay?" And so, but
Yeah,
I
when
come
someone
out,
sees you have one of those moments, which sometimes I don't know. I don't know if it's moments or if it's actually
yeah,
longer than that because you just don't. You're just so disconnected from reality.
yeah. I tease D and I call it because we like the show Quantum Leap, and I said, "Well, I just leaped." So, yes, but that's what it feels like.
Yep, it truly does.
Yeah, but no, it's just takes getting used to. But I've learned I'm learning to accept everything. So
Well, I am consider myself blessed to have encountered you through Facebook and made this connection because
oh, definitely. I mean, I don't see you as a friend. I see you as a brother. So
amen.
and
It's
it does help.
we're both in the same. We're we have different things, but we both
Hmm
deal with a lot of the same issues, and
With the same issues. Yeah, it's so true.
it's um it's probably one of the strongest camaraderies that I've ever built with anyone
Yeah,
over
same here.
over social media.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So every social media has its definitely has its down points, but in this aspect, it's one of the most powerful tools we have today.
I I I think if it's used properly, yes, it is. I would
Yeah,
agree. I would agree with you.
yeah,
There's just been tremendous peace to my soul when I talk
hmm
with you.
yeah, mine too. And it does help because just the feeling that you're alone in the world dealing with something that no one else is, that's scary. And just knowing that you have someone that you talk to going through the exact same thing, it helps.
It truly
And
does, and I know that, like for me, there's an Alzheimer's Association here.
mhm,
Alzheimer's has some similarities, but then again, there's quite a few differences. And I think one of the biggest ones is just how quickly things can change for you with Lewy body. So it's hard for people to understand. Just like it would times, I guess it's hard for us to understand where they are as well.
it is. Well, and one of my doctors at KU, because I was attending a fitness program for Parkinson's patients, and it was good, and it's a good program, but it wasn't for me, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And my doctor at KU, he said, he goes, well, he goes, you have to realize, he goes, what you have is different. And he goes, there's similarities, but Lewy body is different from straight Parkinson's.
Yes.
And he goes, it's much more complex. And he goes, it as a physician, he goes, it is more difficult to treat. And but he goes, that's the thing. He goes, but that's why they put me back into individualized physical therapy, and that's really been helping. So,
Well,
um,
that's what I have. I have very individualized because they come here to my home. Uh,
yeah,
and like today, my therapist had me doing these, I forget what she called them, but basically you're sidestepping one foot over the other sideways. And she's
mhm,
right there to make sure that I don't fall.
right,
But is the way she explains it to me is that we keep working on this. Your balance is getting better, slowly but surely. It's
right,
getting better.
right. It does because they have ways that they retrain your brain,
Isn't
and
Yep, neuroplasticity.
yeah, it does. And they have their ways. And my thing is in therapy is she has me do sit-and stands, holding it with ankle weights and a 10-pound bell thing. And oh, those are killer. But
I'll
it
bet.
needs to be done. It has to be done because
Yeah.
she's getting me ready for the cruise in September.
You go and you have your physical therapy session, and maybe it's not exactly what you want to do, but you get up and you do it anyway. And I think that's a key to having more success is that if you're going to lay down and just forget about it, then you're not going to have. But
That's true.
I found that these gains through my physical activity with the therapy team um,
Hmm.
are the one area that I have that I can fight back on.
That's right. That's
Can't,
right.
can't fight back the mental part, but I can fight back the physical part.
On the physical, exactly. And that's one thing is I've told my therapist Madison, I said, one thing I'd like to work up to after we come back from the cruise, I want to strengthen up and I would love to buy a recumbent bike. And I used to bike ride all the time. It was nothing for me to get on my bike and just take a 30-mile ride. And I don't know if I couldn't do that anymore, but and my balance doesn't allow me to get on a regular bike, but I have used recumbent bikes and they are very comfortable. So that's kind of one of my treatment plan goals.
That'll give you a way to exercise in between, if you will.
Right, right.
I
And then
have
this,
an elliptical, but
uh-huh.
my therapists are like, we'll get on it for a couple of minutes here while I'm right here, but like, don't ever get on yourself.
Not by yourself. No, no, that'd be too dangerous. I wouldn't try it. But it's just one of those things that, but now where Madison or she asked me, she's never been on a cruise, and she asked me what adaptive things I'll have to do on the ship. And I said, well, for one thing, I said, there's um, things when you go into a room, there's a like a plate thing on at each doorway that you have to step over. And I said, they're there in case the ship takes on water.
Right.
And and then I told her, I said, what I'm most afraid of is that when you board the ship, you have to walk up the gangplank. And so that starting this next week, she's going to devise it where we're going to simulate walking up gangplank.
Well, buddy, I am amazingly proud of the fact that you're going to take this journey, and just hope everything works out exactly for the best for you.
Well, thank you. I'll be on contact with you while I'm on there because I bought the internet package. So,
Okay. Well, that's great. We're getting to the end of
Okay.
our time here today, but we certainly will be talking again in the future, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it.
We'd like to thank you for joining us for this edition of Living with Louie.